In this second part of our short film series on agricultural contractors Köhl Harvest, we'll be joining two teams while they're out harvesting whole crop silage. And as promised, we'll take you on an exclusive tour of the John Deere Forage and Combine Harvester factory in Zweibrücken, Germany. Enjoy! Köhl Harvest is based in Neumarkt, in the Upper Palatinate district of Bavaria. It was founded by Nick Köhl. Even though Nick now spends the majority of his time in the office, he still manages to get out and about visiting customers and covers around 100,000 kilometers per year. The area that the company covers is enormous. It stretches from Munich to Hamburg, and they even have some customers in Poland. In part 1, we showed you the forage harvest at one of their larger customers' farms near Berlin, amongst other things. This time, half of the crops that needed harvesting for the whole crop silage, or WCS for short, were in Bavaria. We joined the harvesting team on an interesting mission in Lower Franconia. Agrokraft Streutal operates two cooperative biogas plants in Unsleben and Melrichstadt, near Lower Franconia's border with Thuringia. The plants were set up in 2007 by the 40 farmers involved in the project, and together they have an electrical output of 5.1 megawatts. They also built a biogas treatment facility and a heat grid which supplies commercial buildings, a swimming pool and a school centre, as well as several other buildings. We headed to the biogas plant at Unsleben, where the silos were already pretty full. The team is using trailers belonging to Köhl and the farmers in the cooperative to transport the harvested crops. Matthias is a seasonal driver for the agricultural contractors, and when we caught up with him, he was pushing the last trailer loads into the silage clamp before it got too full. The silage heap wasn't particularly high yet, but was very steep. But this wasn't a problem for the 9RX. Köhl has been using the tracked tractor since 2021 and bought it new. Agricultural machinery dealer DOB Landtechnik, where we briefly saw the 9RX after its winter check in our first video, delivered the powerful giant. They also installed the front hydraulics from French manufacturer La Forge. It was incredible to see how quickly the harvested crops from the Tridem forage wagon were put into the silos. The leveller from Volmer is 5 meters wide. We already showed you Köhl Harvest's second tracked tractor during the forage harvest. The company has also just ordered a third articulated tractor, but you won't be seeing that until our next video. When we caught up with him, Tim was hard at work with the John Deere 8500. The 585 horsepower harvester is tackling its first season this year. In total, the 2023 WCS harvest for the two biogas plants covered 500 hectares. The crops harvested included triticale, rye and other mixed crops. The average yield per hectare was around 27 tons. A special feature on this harvester is the collapsible direct cut header from Italian manufacturer Marangon. In terms of price, the collapsible header is around 33% more expensive than a rigid header, but it has two major advantages that make the extra cost worth it. When you arrive in a new field, you don't have to worry about manoeuvring a header trolley in an unfamiliar space. And most importantly, in smaller structures like this one, where several fields are covered every day, the harvesting crew can stay in the flow and don't get slowed down by having to constantly dismantle and reassemble their equipment. As we came up with the idea for this video project with John Deere, they asked us if we wanted to visit their forage and combine harvester factory in Zweibrücken to film some footage. Of course, we jumped at the chance, as few people have had the opportunity to film inside the factory. We started our tour by looking at the sheet metal part manufacturing. The massive harvesting machines are made up of a jigsaw of thousands of small parts, and the majority of them are manufactured right here. The harvesting machines are assembled piece by piece on a conveyor system. The entire process, from the first sheet to the finished machine, takes around 7 days. W, T and S series combines are also built here in Zweibrücken. Combine construction takes up over 2/3 of the factory area. It's worth mentioning that T-series Walker combines are only manufactured here in Zweibrücken and are available in 56 countries. When it comes to combines, the separator is incredibly important, just like cutter heads are for forage harvesters. The individual components for the cutter units are carefully put together on the assembly line. When it comes to the kernel processor, there are 2 variants with different roller designs and surface coatings available. The factory in Zweibrücken has been in operation for over 150 years now. The first John Deere forage harvester left the assembly line in 1991. The development of forage harvesters, straw distribution in combines and several other things is all done here at the factory. Around 1,000 people work here, and great importance is placed on training and continuous professional development. The in-house training centre offers a wide range of courses in different professions for younger people. The final assembly of the forage harvesters consists of 9 different steps. The addition of the powerful engines is definitely the highlight. Of course, it's also important to mention the company's own JD18X engine here. It has a power range of 700 and 800 horsepower and is used in the John Deere 9000 series. It's currently the only forage harvester engine that adheres to the current emission limits without needing AdBlue. The assembly line is split between the 2 series. The forage harvesters are actually driven to the final check, and so this is where their engines are started for the very first time. In addition to the more powerful engines with adjusted drivetrains, the blade drum in the 9000 series is also slightly wider than the one used in the 8000 series. The combine and forage harvesters finally meet in the logistics hall. Around 25 machines are loaded here every day. The factory in Zweibrücken is actually the only place in the world that produces John Deere forage harvesters. We found it really interesting to see the production process for the harvesting machines in so much detail. Now we're heading back to Lower Franconia and join Köhl Harvest as they do some WCS harvesting. When we arrived, Andreas was out on the second forage harvester. He's one of the agricultural contractor's full-time employees and can often be found out and about with the forage harvester. Köhl Harvest has been using 4 of their 12 forage harvesters for this WCS harvest. In 2023, they harvested a grand total of 2,500 hectares of whole crop silage. As dozens of fields throughout the region need to be harvested, it's not always possible to get each field harvested at exactly the right time. The agricultural contractors generally aim to harvest when the crops are either at the milk or dough ripeness stage and have a dry matter content of around 35%. This allows the biogas plants to obtain a good gas yield from the fresh mass and ensures that the harvested crops can be stored in silos without any issues. The DM content can be determined and recorded on the forage harvester, thanks to the Harvest Lab NIR sensor. The DM content also plays an important role with the sampling at the biogas plant, as the accounting is linked to it. Now we're back at the biogas plant site in Melrichstadt. The harvest is organised in a cooperative way. The farmers supply the substrate from their fields and receive digestate in return. When it comes to the scheduling and customer care, Nick Köhl is supported by 3 of his employees. The John Deere Operations Centre shows exactly where all tractors, forage harvesters and combines are and what they are doing in real time. If a problem occurs, Nick and his team can even access the terminal of the harvesting machine through this system. Jan is responsible for key account management in Bavaria, among other things, and showed us how the data from the Harvest Lab sensor is recorded in the Operations Centre. In the 3rd part of this video series, we'll be taking you along with us to see the baling and maize harvest. If you would like to find out more about Köhl Harvest or are looking for a new job, simply follow the company on Instagram. You can also find several photo galleries from this video series in our media library, online at farmworld.tv.